By the end of this lecture, learners will be able to define student-centered learning as an innovative educational approach. Describe the key principles of student-centered learning. Determine the main strategies for implementing student-centered learning. Define the key challenges of student-centered learning, faced by teachers and students during the teaching-learning process. Hello everyone and welcome. This lecture explores student-centered learning as an instructional approach that places the learner at the center of the educational experience. It focuses on the key principles and strategies for implementing student-centered learning that creates an inclusive and dynamic learning environment. If you're interested in learning more about didactics, then, welcome to the UNIV-ENGLISH channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and also smash the notification bell, so you don't miss any of our new videos. So, let's begin with this question. How can you define student-centered learning as an innovative instructional approach? In contemporary education, there is a growing focus on individualized learning, highlighting the importance of catering to students' unique educational needs. Student-centered learning puts the learner at the center of the educational process, encouraging active participation, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. This approach empowers students to take ownership of their learning, fostering independence and a deeper understanding of the subject matter. With student-centered learning, teachers act as facilitators, guiding and supporting learners on their learning journey. By tailoring instruction to individual needs and interests, students are more engaged, motivated, and able to apply their knowledge in real-world situations. Key principles of student-centered learning. Student-centered learning is an instructional approach that places the learner at the center of the educational experience. It shifts the focus from the traditional teacher-led model to one that empowers students to take an active role in their learning journey. The key principles of student-centered learning can be summarized in the following. 1. Learner autonomy. Student-centered learning promotes learner autonomy, giving students the freedom to make choices and take ownership of their education. Students are encouraged to set goals, make decisions, and reflect on their progress, fostering a sense of responsibility and self-direction. 2. Active engagement. Students actively engage in the learning process through hands-on activities, discussions, problem-solving, and real-world applications. This active engagement encourages deeper understanding and retention of knowledge. 3. Personalization. Student-centered learning recognizes that each student has unique needs, interests, and learning styles. It seeks to personalize instruction by providing tailored learning experiences that accommodate individual differences, allowing students to learn at their own pace and explore topics of personal relevance. 4. Collaboration and communication. Collaboration and communication skills are essential in today's interconnected world. Student-centered learning emphasizes collaborative learning environments where students work together, share ideas, and engage in meaningful dialogue. This fosters teamwork, social skills, and an appreciation for diverse perspectives. 5. Inquiry-based learning. Inquiry-based learning is a fundamental aspect of student-centered learning. It encourages students to ask questions, investigate, research, and seek solutions independently. This promotes curiosity, critical thinking, problem-solving, and a deeper understanding of the subject matter. 6. Ongoing assessment and feedback. Student-centered learning employs ongoing formative assessments that provide immediate feedback to students. This helps students monitor their progress, identify areas for improvement, and make adjustments to their learning strategies. Assessments focus on understanding rather than memorization, allowing students to demonstrate their knowledge and skills in authentic ways. 7. Meaningful connections. Student-centered learning aims to establish meaningful connections between the curriculum and real-life experiences. It emphasizes the relevance of learning by connecting academic concepts to practical applications, societal issues, and personal experiences, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation for the subject matter. These key principles of student-centered learning work synergistically to create an educational environment that promotes active engagement, critical thinking, collaboration, and lifelong learning skills, preparing students for success in the 21st century world. Implementing student-centered learning. Implementing student-centered learning requires a deliberate and strategic approach that involves both instructional design and classroom management. Here are some key steps to effectively implement student-centered learning. 1. Establish a supportive classroom environment. Foster a positive and inclusive classroom culture that values student voice, respect, and collaboration. Create a physical space that is conducive to active learning, with flexible seating arrangements and resources readily available. Set clear expectations and guidelines for student behavior and participation in student-centered activities. 2. Design engaging learning experiences. Identify learning objectives and align them with relevant standards or curriculum requirements. Incorporate a variety of active learning strategies such as group work, project-based learning, problem-solving activities, and hands-on experiments. Provide opportunities for students to explore their own interests and make connections between the curriculum and real-world applications. Integrate technology tools and resources to enhance student engagement and facilitate personalized learning experiences. 3. Facilitate collaborative and inquiry-based learning. Promote collaboration among students by assigning group projects, facilitating discussions, and encouraging peer-to-peer learning. Incorporate inquiry-based learning approaches by encouraging students to ask questions, explore, and investigate topics of interest. Guide students in developing critical thinking and problem-solving skills through structured inquiry processes. 4. Support individualized learning. Differentiate instruction to accommodate students' diverse needs, interests, and learning styles. Provide opportunities for students to set personal learning goals and engage in self-directed learning. Offer choice and flexibility in assignments, assessments, and learning pathways to cater to different learning preferences. 5. Use ongoing assessment and feedback. Employ a variety of formative assessment strategies, such as quizzes, observations, student reflections, and performance tasks, to gauge student progress and understanding. Provide timely and constructive feedback to students, focusing on strengths, areas for improvement, and growth. Involve students in the assessment process by encouraging self-assessment and peer feedback. 6. Reflect and adjust. Continuously reflect on the effectiveness of student-centered learning practices and make necessary adjustments based on student feedback and outcomes. Seek professional development opportunities to enhance your understanding of student-centered instructional strategies and stay informed about emerging best practices. Collaborate with colleagues to share experiences, resources, and ideas related to student-centered learning. Overcoming challenges, and addressing concerns. Implementing student-centered learning can come with its own set of challenges and concerns. However, with careful planning and proactive strategies, these challenges can be addressed effectively. Here are some common challenges and ways to overcome them. 1. Resistance to change. Resistance from students, parents, and even fellow educators can pose a challenge. To address this, communicate the benefits of student-centered learning, emphasizing how it enhances student engagement, critical thinking, and lifelong learning skills. Provide examples and success stories of student-centered learning experiences to demonstrate its effectiveness. Offer professional development opportunities for teachers to build their understanding and skills in implementing student-centered approaches. 2. Time management and logistical considerations. Prioritize essential learning objectives and focus on meaningful, authentic tasks rather than overwhelming students with excessive content. Leverage technology tools and resources to streamline administrative tasks, facilitate collaboration, and enhance efficiency. Collaborate with colleagues to share responsibilities, resources, and best practices to alleviate the burden of individual time constraints. 3. Addressing equity and access issues. Ensure that all students have equal access to learning resources, technology, and support. Differentiate instruction to accommodate diverse learner needs and provide additional support for students who require it. Foster a culture of inclusivity and respect, valuing the diverse perspectives and backgrounds of all students. 4. Balancing assessment and accountability. Align assessments with the learning objectives and emphasize understanding, critical thinking, and problem-solving rather than mere recall of facts. Utilize a variety of assessment methods, including performance-based assessments, portfolios, and presentations, to capture a holistic view of student learning. Provide clear criteria and rubrics to guide student self-assessment and peer assessment. Conclusion? Student-centered learning is an instructional approach that empowers students to take an active role in their education. By placing the learner at the center of the educational experience, student-centered learning promotes autonomy, active engagement, collaboration, and critical thinking. Implementing student-centered learning requires careful planning and consideration of various components, including creating a supportive classroom environment, designing engaging learning experiences, facilitating collaboration, and inquiry-based learning that fosters student engagement and supports individualized learning outcomes.